Some people will never attack your future directly. They will simply demand unrestricted access to your present. They will not tear up your plan. They will interrupt the time required to execute it. They will not tell you to abandon your dream. They will keep you so distracted, doubtful, and emotionally exhausted that you abandon it yourself. Now, understand me carefully. This is not a call to distrust everyone. It is not permission to abandon people whenever relationships become difficult. And it is certainly not an excuse to label every disagreement as spiritual opposition. Suspicion sees enemies everywhere. Discernment studies patterns. Suspicion reacts from fear. Discernment responds with wisdom. Vision is a clear picture of a purpose-filled future that governs your choices today. It tells your time where to go. It tells your energy what deserves investment. It tells your priorities what must come first. And because your life has a season, your vision has a timetable. You do not possess unlimited years, unlimited strength, or unlimited opportunities. What you were born to contribute must be developed within the time you have been given. That is why relationships are not separate from vision. Conversations shape your thinking. Repeated demands consume your hours. Emotional turbulence weakens your concentration. Trusted voices influence what you attempt, what you postpone, and what you eventually believe about yourself. You may love many people, but love does not require equal access. Everyone can receive dignity. Not everyone should receive your private information. Everyone can receive kindness. Not everyone should control your calendar. Everyone can receive compassion. Not everyone should influence your decisions. Here is the principle. Purpose must determine access. Access must never be allowed to redefine purpose. So ask yourself, who has permission to interrupt your most important work? Who interprets your identity when you become uncertain? Who can redirect your decisions with one conversation? Who repeatedly disturbs your peace, then leaves you to recover alone? These questions are not secondary. They concern stewardship. Your future is connected to what you permit in your present. We are going to examine observable patterns, personal responsibility, clear boundaries, and levels of earned trust. No panic, no impulsive separation, no judgment based merely on chemistry or fear. But before you decide who belongs near your future, you must confront a difficult truth. Familiarity is not proof of alignment. Someone can love the version of you they have always known and still resist the person your vision requires you to become. They may love your familiarity but fear your growth. They may enjoy your presence but resent your priorities. They may celebrate your dream until fulfilling it changes your availability. Affection matters, but affection is not qualification. A person can care deeply about you and still lack the wisdom, maturity, or experience to guide a major decision. Love may make someone sincere. It does not automatically make that person accurate. History is also powerful. You say, "We have known each other for 20 years. That statement proves duration, not alignment. Time can deepen trust, but time can also normalize dysfunction. A relationship that belonged in one season may require a different role in the next. Honor the history, but do not let yesterday dictate tomorrow. Now consider charisma and chemistry. Some people make you comfortable immediately. They speak your language. They understand your humor. Their confidence impresses you. But comfort can lower your guard before character has been tested. Meanwhile, someone less charming may possess the honesty, stability, and discipline your future needs. Chemistry creates connection. Character determines whether that connection can carry weight. Flattery is even more dangerous because praise can feel like partnership. Watch what happens when you make an independent decision. Watch what happens when you say no. Watch what happens when your growth no longer requires their approval. If affection disappears whenever control disappears, that was not support. It was dependence wearing a smile. And do not be captured by spiritual vocabulary. A person may speak confidently about purpose, destiny, and divine direction. But language is not evidence. Test the words through conduct. Is there humility? Is there consistency? Is there responsibility? Do they keep their word when no audience is watching? Spiritual language without disciplined character is decoration. Now, this requires fairness. A person does not need malicious intentions to have a harmful effect. Someone may genuinely mean well and still distract you, discourage you, or repeatedly direct you away from your assignment. You do not have to condemn their heart to evaluate their influence. Think of your life as a vehicle moving toward a destination. You may welcome many passengers. You may care for them, listen to them, and enjoy the journey with them. But not every passenger is qualified to hold the steering wheel. So ask the first serious question: does this relationship help me become more truthful, responsible, peaceful, and productive? Or does it require me to remain familiar, dependent, and easily controlled? Stop confusing closeness with qualification. Stop confusing history with authority. Emotional connection may explain why someone is near you. It does not determine how much influence that person should possess. But once these false tests are removed, a harder question appears. Is this person correcting your vision or quietly corroding it? The person who agrees with everything you say may be more dangerous to your vision than the person who asks the question you do not want to answer. Agreement can make you comfortable. Correction can make you capable. Your future does not need constant applause. It needs truth strong enough to improve your preparation. Healthy correction has a purpose. It aims to strengthen your thinking, refine your conduct, expose a weakness, or clarify your execution. It does not humiliate you to make the speaker feel powerful. It does not use your mistakes to control you. It addresses something specific: an unrealistic deadline, an ignored responsibility, a contradiction in your plan, a promise you have not kept. Healthy correction also gives reasons. It permits questions. It speaks with the same integrity in private and in public. Most importantly, it leaves responsibility with you. A wise counselor does not make you dependent on their permission. They help you see clearly, then expect you to decide responsibly. Corrosion works differently. Corrosion does not examine the plan, it attacks the person. It mocks your growth, punishes your independence, magnifies confusion, and treats every step forward as a betrayal. It does not say, "Have you prepared for this risk?" It says, "Who do you think you are?" One question strengthens responsibility. The other cultivates helplessness. Watch what happens when evidence appears. Suppose someone questioned your preparation, so you studied, saved, practiced, and improved the plan. A wise challenger can acknowledge the growth and revise the concern. A controlling person simply moves the objection. First, you lacked experience. Then you gained experience, but now the timing is wrong. When the timing improves, suddenly your ambition is selfish. The issue was never evidence. The issue was influence. Watch what happens when you establish a boundary. Mature people may not enjoy every limit, but they can respect one. Manipulative patterns escalate when access decreases. Guilt becomes louder. Affection becomes conditional. Anger becomes a weapon. A sudden crisis appears whenever you attempt to return to your priorities. But remain humble. You cannot read every motive, and you must not turn one painful conversation into a permanent verdict. Judge repeated conduct and visible results. Discernment is not dramatic accusation. It is careful observation followed by responsible action. And before you reject criticism, examine yourself. Ask, is this comment false, degrading, and designed to control me? Or is it exposing poor planning, inconsistency, pride, or a commitment I failed to honor? Do not call accountability sabotage simply because accountability embarrasses you. Sometimes the voice disturbing your comfort is protecting your purpose. Your vision needs protection, but not protection from all criticism. A vision protected from truth becomes fantasy. Protected from influences that destroy clarity, responsibility, and agency. Receive correction that makes you stronger. Refuse corrosion that trains you to become smaller. That distinction will save you from two errors: rejecting the people who sharpen you and trusting the people who slowly weaken you. Still, one conversation cannot reveal an entire relationship. A bad day is not a complete pattern, and one inspiring moment is not proof of character. To discern wisely, you must examine what time repeatedly exposes. Time exposes what charm can conceal. Do not make a permanent judgment because of one inspiring conversation, and do not condemn an entire relationship because of one painful moment. Observe patterns. Watch what happens under pressure, during progress, after correction, and when you establish a boundary. There are 4 patterns you must examine. Truth, responsibility, peace, and growth. First, truth. Does this relationship permit honesty, or does honesty always produce punishment? Can both of you admit mistakes? Is private information protected, or does vulnerability become material for gossip, embarrassment, and control? Do you seek understanding when conflict occurs, or collect fragments of conversation and use them as weapons? But submit yourself to the same test. Have you stated your needs clearly, or have you trained people to guess what you need and then resented them for guessing incorrectly? Have you communicated your limits, or remained silent until frustration became anger? Truth is not only what you demand from others, it is what you owe them. Second, responsibility. Healthy relationships contain people who can own choices, keep reasonable commitments, learn from consequences, and participate in solutions. Unhealthy patterns make one person permanently responsible for another person's emotions, emergencies, finances, decisions, or recovery. Manipulation often speaks through guilt, blame, repeated crisis, and rehearsed helplessness. It says, "If you cared, you would solve this for me." But assistance should restore agency, not replace it. Help that strengthens responsibility can change a life. Help that preserves dependence can quietly imprison two lives. Third, peace. Peace does not mean the absence of disagreement. Peace is inner order. It is the ability to face reality with clarity and self-control. Use the after-effect test. After repeated contact with this person, are you usually clearer, steadier, and able to return to your priorities? Or are you confused, ashamed, agitated, and unable to concentrate on necessary work? Notice the effect, not just the conversation. Yet discomfort is not automatically danger. Truth can disturb you. Accountability can embarrass you. Growth can expose what comfort allowed you to ignore. Healthy discomfort eventually produces greater clarity and responsibility. Destructive confusion repeatedly takes both away. Fourth, growth. Watch how people respond when you become more disciplined, more skilled, more independent, more spiritually serious, or more effective. Do they celebrate your development, or become hostile because your progress changes their position in your life? Aligned people do not need you to remain weak so they can remain necessary. They can support your growth without possessing it. They can applaud your progress without demanding control over its direction. Now conduct an audit. Do not rely on impressions. Examine recent evidence, specific conversations, promises kept or broken, boundaries respected or violated, reactions to your progress, recurring crises, repaired conflicts, and scheduled commitments repeatedly disrupted. Then classify the pattern without condemning the person. Is this relationship strengthening? Is it mixed but repairable? Is it persistently draining? Or is it actively unsafe? Classification is not condemnation. It is clarity for stewardship. And do not use this framework only as a telescope for examining everyone else. Use it as a mirror. Does your presence produce truth, responsibility, peace, and growth in the people around you? Can they disagree with you safely? Do you honor their boundaries? Do you celebrate their progress when it reduces their dependence on you? Discernment without self-examination becomes pride. Self-examination without discernment becomes vulnerability. You need both. This four-pattern test frees you from mind reading, paranoia, and denial. It gives you observable evidence for responsible decisions. But that evidence raises an uncomfortable question. If an unhealthy pattern has been visible for so long, why have you continued to permit it? What another person did is not automatically your fault, but what you permit from this point forward is now your responsibility. Responsibility is not condemnation. It is the recovery of authority. You cannot rewrite yesterday's choices, but you can govern tomorrow's access. Discernment must begin within you. Otherwise, it becomes an excuse for anger, revenge, emotional chasing, and attempts to control everyone around you. Mature discernment does not merely protect you from another person's disorder. It protects them from your reaction. It teaches you to pause before promising, to think before responding, and to choose peace before proving a point. So ask yourself a difficult question. Why did I repeatedly explain away what I could already see? Was it fear of loneliness, Was it the need to be approved? Was it pressure from family expectations? Did you believe that saying no was unspiritual? Were you protecting an old memory of the relationship after its present reality had changed? Or did being needed make you feel important? An unhealed desire to be chosen will distort your judgment. Flattery will feel like confirmation. Constant attention will feel like commitment. And an ordinary boundary will feel like abandonment. When identity depends on human approval, every disagreement feels dangerous because you are not only risking the relationship, you believe you are risking your worth. Now consider the rescuer identity. Some people build their importance around solving everybody's problems. They pay every cost, absorb every crisis, excuse every broken promise, and call the exhaustion compassion. But if your help prevents another person from facing responsibility, your rescue may be preserving the very weakness you claim to oppose. You become depleted, they remain dependent, and both lives stop growing. There is another danger, visionary pride. You can become so convinced of your assignment that every question sounds like betrayal. You begin treating your vision as proof that you cannot be wrong. But purpose does not make you infallible. A genuine assignment still requires planning, discipline, correction, and humility. When criticism comes, ask 3 questions. What part of this is factually true? What responsibility belongs to me? What change would strengthen the vision even if the message was delivered poorly? Do not allow a bad tone to hide useful truth. You must also distinguish forgiveness, reconciliation, and access. Forgiveness releases the desire for revenge. Reconciliation requires truth, responsibility, and mutual repair. Restored access requires evidence of trustworthiness over time. These are related, but they are not identical. You can forgive someone without immediately returning the key. Create space to see clearly. Withdraw from the emotional heat. Pray. Write down what occurred. Compare words with patterns. Seek counsel from someone who is honest, stable, and not invested in controlling the outcome. Clarity grows when noise decreases. Healing is protection. The less you need everyone to approve of you, the less praise can purchase your loyalty. Criticism can redirect your identity. Urgency can seize your calendar, or guilt can govern your decisions. Stop diagnosing everyone while refusing to examine yourself. Discern the relationship, but also discern the wound, pride, fear, or appetite that kept the door open. Once you can see both clearly, a stronger principle becomes possible. Kindness must no longer be separated from stewardship. Being available to everyone can make you unavailable to the assignment only you can fulfill. You answer every call, absorb every crisis, solve every problem, and then wonder why your own work remains unfinished. You call it kindness, but kindness without stewardship can become neglect of purpose. This is not an argument for coldness, selfishness, or indifference. It is an argument for compassion governed by capacity, timing, responsibility, and vision. Mature kindness does not ask only, "Can I help?" It also asks, what kind of help is wise? What can I sustain? What responsibility belongs to this person? What will this yes require me to abandon? Your resources are finite. Your time, attention, energy, money, and opportunity cannot be spent twice. Every unexamined yes contains an unseen no. Yes to another unnecessary interruption may be no to preparation. Yes to another preventable crisis may be no to rest. Yes to keeping everybody pleased may be no to the contribution you were created to make. Watch the cycle of overgiving. An urgent request arrives. Guilt produces a premature yes. That commitment invades work you already promised to complete. You become tired, frustrated, and resentful. But because you never stated an honest limit, the other person believes everything is fine. Your generosity becomes dishonest, and the relationship becomes weaker. Constant rescue can also interrupt another person's growth. If you repeatedly shield someone from planning, decisions, and consequences, they never develop the strength those experiences were meant to produce. Compassion should help people stand. It should not require them to remain dependent so you can feel valuable. Learn to distinguish an emergency from a pattern. A genuine emergency may require unusual sacrifice, but when every week produces a new crisis, urgency may have become a method of obtaining access. Respond to immediate danger with care. Respond to recurring disorder with structure. Ask, what have you already tried? Clarify what assistance you can provide. Set a limit on your time, money, or involvement. Then return ownership of the outcome. I can help you think through the options, but I cannot make this decision for you. That is not rejection. That is responsibility restoring help. Now examine your calendar. Do not tell me your priorities. Show me who receives your best hours. Show me which conversations repeatedly displace your work. Show me which crises consume the energy meant for your health, family, preparation, promises, rest, and vision. Your calendar reveals what your mouth may deny. A principled no protects a more important yes. No to uncontrolled access may be yes to keeping your word. No to another rescue may be yes to another person's maturity. No to immediate approval may be yes to long-term purpose. Kindness gives what is wise. People-pleasing gives whatever prevents disapproval. Boundaries do not cancel compassion. They keep compassion honest, sustainable, and aligned. And if love can remain present while availability changes, relationships no longer have to be governed by two extremes, complete closeness or complete removal. There are levels of access, and trust must rise through them gradually. You do not have to tell someone everything or remove them from your life completely. That is a false choice. Healthy stewardship recognizes levels of access. Love can be broad, but trust must be gradual. The first level is goodwill. You can offer dignity, courtesy, prayer, and humane concern to people who have no access to your private life. Respect does not require disclosure. Kindness does not require influence. The second level is association. You share ordinary conversation, common spaces, and activities. This level allows you to observe without becoming prematurely vulnerable. How does this person speak about others? How do they respond to inconvenience? Can they respect a simple no? Association gives time and opportunity to reveal character. The third level is cooperation. Now you share a limited responsibility, project, or commitment. Cooperation tests reliability. Do they communicate? Do they keep their word? Can they repair conflict without gossip, blame, or disappearance? Trust grows through demonstrated responsibility, not impressive promises. The fourth level is confidence. At this level, you share developing plans, personal struggles, or sensitive information. But confidence must be earned. Before someone receives your vulnerability, they should demonstrate confidentiality. Before they hear the unfinished vision, they should prove that they can handle truth without turning it into entertainment, pressure, or control. The fifth level is counsel. This is decision-making influence. A counselor needs more than affection. That person needs character, relevant wisdom, humility, and the ability to remain connected even when you choose differently. Never give steering authority to someone merely because they care about you. Love can comfort you while inadequate counsel misdirects you. Then there is covenantal partnership, the innermost circle. This level should be small because it carries unusual responsibility. These are people who protect the shared mission, sacrifice without keeping score, tell the truth without humiliation, and permit you to do the same. They do not merely admire the vision, they help carry its weight. Access is not permanent entitlement. It can increase, remain stable, or decrease according to evidence. Forgiveness may restore peace in your heart, but it does not automatically restore a person to their former position. Trust that was damaged by repeated conduct must be rebuilt through repeated conduct. Apply this wisely. A relative may always deserve honor, but not unrestricted influence. A colleague may earn operational trust without becoming a personal confidant. A close friend may know your heart, yet lack the expertise to advise your business, finances, or calling. Different relationships serve different functions. Do not demand everything from one person, and do not give everything to every person. Be careful of premature promotion. Chemistry is not character. Shared pain is not permanent alignment. Urgency is not proof of trust. Flattery is not wisdom. A dramatic spiritual claim is not a substitute for consistency. And at every level, turn the question toward yourself. Have you developed the character required to receive this kind of access to someone else's life? Can you keep confidence? Can you respect a boundary? Can you offer correction without seeking control? Can you celebrate growth that makes another person less dependent on you? Love broadly. Observe patiently. Trust gradually. Increase access through evidence, not emotion. This structure preserves compassion while protecting the future from unearned influence and unnecessary exposure. But a system has no power until it changes behavior. The access ladder must now become clear conversations, enforceable limits, and consequences you are prepared to maintain. Mature discernment does not build its identity around exposing people. It adjusts access. It does not ask, how can I defeat this person? It asks, what level of participation is wise? Your purpose is too important to become a stage for revenge. A boundary has 4 parts. Name the pattern without exaggeration. State the limit clearly. Explain what will happen next. Then identify the consequence if the limit is ignored. You might say, I care about you, but I cannot continue this pattern. I am available to help in this specific way and at this particular time. I am not available for that demand or that conversation. Notice the balance. Care remains, but uncontrolled access ends. When someone pressures your decision, say, I will listen to your concern, but I will not make this choice through pressure, ridicule, or repeated argument. Listening is respect. Surrendering your agency is not. When someone expects private information, say, I am keeping this plan within a smaller circle until it is ready. That is a stewardship decision, not a punishment. You do not owe everyone access to what is still developing. Now prepare for resistance. Someone may say you have changed. They may call you proud, selfish, disloyal, or uncaring. Do not panic. Whenever an established pattern changes, discomfort is normal. The person who benefited from your lack of limits may experience your clarity as rejection. But interpret resistance carefully. Disappointment alone does not prove manipulation. A mature person may need time to adjust. However, threats, harassment, coercion, retaliation, or repeated violations are not ordinary discomfort. They are evidence that firmer distance and appropriate support may be necessary. Explain enough to be clear, but do not explain endlessly. Some people ask questions to understand. Others ask questions to keep the decision open until you become exhausted enough to surrender. Clarity requires an explanation. Manipulation demands an argument without an ending. And remember the difference between a consequence and revenge. A consequence governs your participation. If the insults continue, I will end the conversation. Revenge seeks injury. I will embarrass you because you embarrassed me. One protects dignity. The other abandons it. Repair is possible, but restoration must follow evidence. An emotional apology may begin the process. It cannot complete it. When a person accepts responsibility, respects the limit, repairs harm, and demonstrates change over time, access may increase gradually. Trust is rebuilt through consistency, not intensity. If the relationship involves abuse, stalking, coercion, threats, or material danger, do not treat private confrontation as a moral requirement. Prioritize safety. Seek qualified assistance. Protecting yourself is not a failure of compassion. Then discipline your emotions. No gossip campaign. No public performance. No recruiting a crowd to validate your decision. No hidden attempt to punish the person through silence. Use truth, clarity, restraint, and consistent action. You do not need to become cruel to become clear. You do not need revenge to reduce access. You need a boundary you can state calmly and maintain faithfully. But reducing unhealthy access only creates space. An empty circle is not the goal. Your protected future still needs wise, trustworthy people who can help you carry it. Selectivity is not isolation. It is preparation for deeper community. The goal is not to remove everyone until nobody can reach you. The goal is to replace controlling connections with responsible relationships, noise with wisdom, and admiration with alignment. Your future requires a circle that serves several functions. You need spiritual and moral grounding when ambition begins to distort judgment. You need honest correction when enthusiasm hides a weakness. You need relevant competence when the vision enters territory you do not understand. You need emotional steadiness when pressure rises. You need practical encouragement when progress is slow. And you need accountability that asks not only what you intend to do, but what you have actually completed. Do not demand all of this from one person. Emotional closeness does not create expertise. A loyal friend may understand your heart but not your industry. A skilled advisor may strengthen your strategy without becoming your confidant. Different people bring different forms of value. Wisdom knows which voice belongs in which decision. Look for people who keep confidence. Celebrate progress without trying to possess it. Question your plan without belittling your identity. And respect a no without turning it into conflict. Look for people who repair relationships after disagreement and remain consistent when there is no advantage, recognition, or reward. But healthy circles are not merely found. They are cultivated through reciprocity. Show up. Keep your promises. Receive correction without punishing honesty. Serve without trying to control. Respect the other person's priorities as seriously as you expect them to respect yours. If you want trustworthy relationships, become trustworthy. Test cooperation before granting deep access. Complete a small project together. Navigate a disagreement. Exchange honest feedback. Carry a limited responsibility. Small assignments reveal communication, character, and consistency before the stakes become expensive. Then establish a regular vision conversation with your trusted circle. Review the purpose. Identify current distractions. Examine what preparation is missing. Confront neglected commitments. Decide the next measurable step. A healthy circle does not merely help you feel inspired, it helps you move and guard against creating an echo chamber. If everyone around you agrees with everything, your circle may be protecting your weakness instead of protecting your vision. Purpose needs courage, but it also needs correction. It needs encouragement, but it also needs evidence. The right people will not carry your responsibility for you. They will strengthen your ability to act with truth, peace, discipline, and consistency. They will not become your purpose. They will help you remain faithful to it. You have now learned how to test relationships, assign access, communicate boundaries, and cultivate healthy community. But knowledge without decision changes nothing. The final question is not whether you understand the framework. It is whether you will use it. Your future is rarely lost in one dramatic moment. More often, it is exchanged through small permissions repeated without examination. One interruption, one guilty yes, one ignored warning, one surrendered decision at a time. So begin with clarity. Write your vision plainly. What are you responsible for building, becoming, or contributing in this season? A vague dream cannot govern access because it gives you no destination against which to test alignment. Then conduct a private audit of 5 forms of access: your time, your information, your emotional energy, your resources, and your decision-making influence. Who receives each one? Who has earned it? Who possesses it merely because history, urgency, or guilt placed it in their hands? Take every significant relationship through the 4-pattern test. Does it consistently strengthen truth, responsibility, peace, and growth? Use evidence, not labels. Examine actual conversations, honored commitments, violated boundaries, reactions to progress, and the condition in which repeated contact leaves you. Now assign the appropriate level of access. Identify one relationship that deserves appreciation because it has strengthened your purpose. Identify one that requires an honest conversation. Identify one that needs reduced access. And identify one trustworthy person who may deserve gradually increased confidence. But do not audit everyone else and excuse yourself. Name one approval need, rescue habit, defensive reaction, or broken commitment that makes you easily controlled or makes you unsafe for others. Your circle cannot become healthier while you refuse to grow. Choose one boundary to communicate this week. Make it clear, make it calm, make it specific. Attach a consequence you are genuinely prepared to maintain. A boundary you will not enforce is only a request disguised as a decision. Then make one investment in healthy community. Seek wise counsel. Repair a trustworthy relationship you neglected. Join disciplined work with aligned people. Keep a promise. Become more dependable. Do not merely search for the right circle. Become the kind of person the right circle can trust. Some people may misunderstand your change. Let them misunderstand for a season. Misunderstanding is uncomfortable, but it is not permission to abandon stewardship. You are not responsible for controlling every interpretation. You are responsible for governing your participation with truth and dignity. Do not become suspicious. Become observant. Do not become bitter. Become governed. Do not stop loving people. Stop giving every person authority over your future. Do not confuse peace with passivity, kindness with surrender, or loyalty with permanent access. You were given a purpose, and that purpose has a season. Protecting it is not selfishness. It is responsibility. The choice is now yours. You can continue allowing urgency, history, chemistry, and approval to distribute the keys to your life. Or you can become a faithful steward who lets purpose determine proximity, evidence determine trust, and wisdom determine access. Stop granting access by habit. Begin governing it by purpose.